check this out. I opened this photography gallery and it's the best thing I've ever done. So why don't you come on inside and I'll show you around. Now, as you may have seen from the sign outdoor, it is called the Mt Whitney Gallery, and it's named for Mt Whitney, the highest point in the contiguous 48 states at 14,500 feet, which I look at from the windows of the gallery every single day. So, as you might expect, the gallery is a celebration of the area surrounding Mt Whitney, the Eastern Sierra here in California, one of the most spectacular mountain locations in the world. Certainly a place that is near and dear to my heart, the place that I love most in the world. And I wanted to celebrate the astounding beauty of this incredible region. So when you come into the gallery, what you're going to see are photos from the magnificent Eastern Sierra, showcasing its beauty in all seasons, all times of day, and all times of year. So let me give you a tour. Right when you walk in, you enter what I like to call the main salon, the grand salon, the largest room here in the gallery, and it has some of my favorite and largest pieces in it. But there's a lot more than just that one room in the gallery. In fact, I have 3 rooms here. The next one over is the lounge or the sunroom. This is a room that I wanted to feel really bright and relaxing and warm. It's a great place to just come, sit down in a rocking chair, pick up a book, kick your feet up, relax, unwind, dream about adventures in the mountains, or read about them in some of the books that I've got laying around. Now, through this door is another very exciting part of the gallery. This is the classroom. Okay, and this is where I teach small group workshops, and we do everything here from planning moon photography using photo pills. In other words, how would you go about planning a photograph like this? We do night photography, Lightroom, Photoshop, all kinds of stuff. Anything you can think of that you want to do with landscape photography, we're working on a workshop here to do that. So that's the classroom here. And if you walk back through this way, hey, we're just back in the main salon. This is the desk. That's where the magic happens. Don't look too closely. It's an absolute mess right now. All right, so that's the gallery. And for those of you who don't know, Mt Whitney is located outside of Lone Pine, California. So pop that into your Google Maps and find your way here. We're at 126 North Main Street in Lone Pine. Please come by and say hi. Now, a lot of people want to know what are my favorite prints here in the gallery. And of course, it's like choosing a favorite child. It's very, very easy to do. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. There's a lot because my heart is represented here and it's really hard to pick those moments. But I will say this is absolutely one of my favorites. It was an incredibly insane night of light. The sun was setting through these clouds. There was a big cumulus cloud over here bouncing off and reflecting all the light into all the crags here in the mountains, just creating some of the most three-dimensional and beautiful light I've ever seen at sunset bouncing off the mountains here. So absolutely love this one. This particular photo, it's from my favorite place in the entire Sierra. So of course, this is a really high one for me. And I really wanted to print this one large. It's a 40 by 80 inch print so that I could just stand here and remember, and be immersed what it was like that particular morning, seeing this beautiful cascade, looking at those wonderful clouds radiating out over the mountains of the deep backcountry of Kings Canyon National Park. And as much as I love those photos, I think if I had to pick just one out of the whole gallery as my absolute favorite, it could be this shot of the bristlecone pine. Now, I know the video is not going to do this thing justice. This is a 40 inch by 60 inch print. And when you see it under the gallery lights, it looks absolutely three-dimensional. Like you could reach out and touch all of the beautiful bark of this bristlecone pine tree. And the reason that I love this photo is because it brings me back to that night. It was just such an astonishing night of seeing this beautiful full moon rise up through the belt of Venus right at sunset. A minute later, this tree was completely in shadow. All the elements came together in this incredibly beautiful, almost perfect moment, if I can say so. And being reminded of that by looking at this massive print, it just hits me right in the heart, wherever your heart is. I think it's on this one. So for the curious, these are all metal dye sublimation prints, and I get them all done at the wonderful Printmakers at Magnachrome. They do an incredible job. I love working with them. It's a small family-run company, and they have some secret sauce. They take the photos that I send them, and they produce these masterpieces that just hit me right in the gut every time that I see them. And the reason that I decided to do the metal dye sublimation prints here for the gallery is I knew I wanted a lot of high impact. I wanted you to feel the photos when you walked in, and the color, the detail, the level of reproduction that you can get with this medium, it absolutely just blows me away. I'm so pleased to see my photos in this way. When the gallery lights are on them, they look almost three-dimensional. It's really a cool effect. So I absolutely love those metal prints. So let me talk a little bit about why I opened this gallery in the first place. And I have to admit, it has been a dream of mine ever since I picked up a camera. I always thought, how cool would it be to someday have a gallery where I could show off my work? But when I was first starting out, I really suffered from imposter syndrome. I thought that somehow you had to prove yourself to the world at large before you would get the opportunity to maybe someday show your work in some gallery. But the truth is, there is no ruler of the photography world. Nobody decreed, well, Joshua, we have determined that you are now good enough that you are allowed to open your own gallery. Of course not. I was just walking down the street here in Lone Pine, saw an empty storefront, called the owner, the price was in my budget, and I went, holy crap, I guess I'm gonna try opening a photography gallery. I honestly didn't really know what I was doing when I was opening it, but I just had the dream, the idea, the desire, and so I went for it. Now, in those early days, I still had a lot of questions. Am I doing the right thing? Is this some sort of incredibly complicated, financially disastrous mistake that I am about to make? Is it just some gigantic way to stroke my ego and make me feel important? And I was talking about this with a guy named Jerry Dodril, an amazing photographer who used to be the gallery manager of the Mountain Light Gallery in Bishop, and Jerry also runs his own gallery over in Bodega, California, and he gave me some fantastic advice, and he said, never make love with a woman who has a tattoo of a dagger on her arm.
What?
Now, Jerry told me no matter what you want to do in your life as a photographer, it doesn't matter if you are the best photographer on the internet, in people's minds. If you have a gallery, you automatically have so much more status. So if you want to work with a certain company, if you want to get a certain project off the ground, if you just want people to look at you with new respect in their eyes, a gallery is a great way to allow you to do that. And he's totally right, because somehow the fact that I had this physical location, it doesn't change who I am as a photographer, but in people's eyes, and the people who walk in, they say, you have a gallery? You must be a real photographer. But again, the truth is, nobody sort of let me do this. I just decided to do it. And you can too, right? You can find a place where you can start to put your work up, and you can say, oh, you can view my work at this gallery. But none of that really gets into the idea of why this is the best thing that I've ever done as a photographer. Yes, it's really cool when people walk in the door and they say, wow, I love your photos. And it's really cool to connect with people over the places that we love, the places that we have in common. I absolutely love that. And yes, it's really cool to sell prints, to have this photo go up in somebody's home, in a place that they're gonna look at it every day and say, oh my God, this reminds me of the place that I love. It's really neat to bring those two parts of my life and their life together. But the real reason that I absolutely think this is the best thing I've ever done as a photographer is every day when I look around here, I am confronted by the most astounding, most beautiful, some of the most intense and impactful moments of my entire life. In fact, I gotta tell you, when the first crate of prints showed up from my printmaker, I gotta crack this baby open. I'm gonna put things up on the wall. What I was not anticipating when I got those first prints out and I started putting them around me, it hit me and I felt it, and I got very emotional looking at all of those photos, because I realized this is my life. My God, like, look at what I've been so fortunate to experience. This is amazing. This is the first time I ever was really surrounded with the record of all those beautiful experiences that I'd had in my life. And it is so different. Seeing these printed large, they feel real. They're so tangible. The emotional connection that I have to these works, it's infinitely higher than when they're on the computer. I can't even explain how much more powerful it is to see your work in print. And like I said, I got emotional seeing my life, seeing those beautiful moments from my life spread out around me like that. And I think this is one of the most incredible things about being a landscape photographer that never occurred to me before. Who else in the world besides landscape and nature photographers has their life documented has the most beautiful moments from their life documented in such incredible detail. To be able to look through your photos and say, this was my existence, that's unbelievable. And so when I walk in here every single day and I see that, it is absolutely so powerful. It's so beautiful. It's such a wonderful reminder of how fortunate I am to be able to do the things that I do. Now, if you have no intention of ever opening a gallery, that's totally fine, but I think that you should print your work. And I think that you should print your work as big as you possibly can, because there is no feeling quite like looking at a 72-inch wide photo of one of the most beautiful moments that you've ever experienced. It will remind you why you do photography, why it's important to be out there. It'll help you strengthen your connection with Mother Nature. It's just friggin' cool, you guys. I really encourage all of you to print your work, to get it up where other people can see it, where you can make those connections, where you can be reminded of the beauty and the power of those moments that you've had the fortune to experience in your life. And I also want you all to just come by here to the gallery here in Lone Pine, 126 North Main Street, the Mt Whitney Gallery, so you can come and enjoy the beauty of the Eastern Sierra, maybe come take a workshop from me, or just come hang out, do your own photography in this astounding place, and keep building those connections with nature, with photography, and reminding yourself, why do you do what you do? Now that's gonna do it for this one. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Until the next video, have fun and happy shooting.